long before the virus, we had so many children in need across the world. I work with UNHCR, and there are about 30 million children who are uprooted. Before the virus, we had over 258 million children out of school. So we had a crisis bigger than we could manage long before. Now this, and now the numbers so rapidly have risen. 1.5 million out of school in need of help. The World Food Program speaking about possibly a famine of biblical proportions. Having been in the field and seeing how these people exist and how they depend really daily, moment to moment, to survive, I certainly can say I understand how just a little pull in that fabric, how things fall apart. It should never be that vulnerable. We should never have children around the world that vulnerable. We should not be in this state. For many children, as you pointed out earlier, that yes, they're not as directly impacted by the virus, but the secondary impact, the being locked within a home with an abuser, the being locked within a home unable to access that school meal that was your one big meal of the day that kept you from hunger. 1 in 7 American children. It's unbelievable. 1 in 7 American children are that close to going hungry. It's the food insecurity that affects 11 million children, severe insecurity, 11 million children, 20 million on these food stamps and dependent. And it's domestic violence and abuse. We've seen the numbers go down. I believe it was even last checked, it was about 40% less calls in and information reports of child abuse. Now we know it didn't go away. So why that number for people who work on this issue is so upsetting is because it means these kids are trapped. Nobody can see them. When a child goes to school, it is a place where you can temporarily get away from the violence or the horrors if you live in one of those homes. But it's also a place for the bruises to be noticed, for a child who's a child maltreatment to be witnessed, and for it to be called in. So these are things, and we know domestic violence is on the rise across the world because we're hearing horrible reports. So within a home can be the most dangerous place in the world for many people. When people say, I think about that often, somebody says, well, I believe in equality. Well, what does that really mean, to believe all people are equal? You believe all people are equal, then you can't be okay with how so many people are being treated. And so this is a time for outrage, for grand change across the world. My colleagues who are on the front lines in the camps are still there, and they're there every day. Thousands of them working across the world in over 128 countries to bring assistance to people. And as you know, the camps there's a real question right now. So far, thank God we haven't had cases across a camp, but if we do, it will spread far and fast. Everyone is working very hard to try to do, sanitation stations and hand washing, and camps have always been, UNHCR is always with very, very little funding and very high numbers ever growing. UNHCR has done its best to try to manage and help the people. We're protection agencies. We try to find a secure place. We try to manage it. We work with all these other wonderful UNHCR. We work with other wonderful UN and NGO actors across the the countries that we work in. But the scale is on another level. So I'm trying to support them. I'm trying to work with them. I'm working with the High Commissioner. We're trying to see what we can do. But I think most people are in quite a lot of shock. And as I said, we could hardly do our work and meet the needs before. So this is really a frightening time, truly a very, very frightening time. So I believe in humanity. I have hope. And I think we really can't afford not to have hope. So I think when people are aware, and if they can have a path forward, guiding them with how to help and what to do, they will.